Hello, everybody. Welcome to REP Paranormal and Friends. I guess there is no intro tonight because Skype will not play the intro. So here is your host, Kim Purvis.
Well, welcome, everybody. And we have a special host tonight is Shay. She's going to help me out. Allison couldn't be here tonight. And we got Coy Pittman tonight from Until Dawn Podcast, right?
Correct.
All right. I got a few questions Allison had ready for me. So what got you all interested in the paranormal and everything?
Well, for my wife, she had a very different upbringing. She grew up in a very small community, and her grandmother actually had a haunted house, very like poltergeist style activity, and they actually had people come down from Duke University, because at that time there was still kind of a large push in the universities for that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. As for me, my upbringing was very different. We moved around a lot, so I never really had that small town or like a haunted house necessarily that I grew up in. I came by it mainly through like the horror movie genre, books and stuff. I did a lot of reading as a kid. I loved, ghost stories and stuff like that. But it really wasn't until 2006. I had just come back from my second deployment, and we just moved into a house while I was on leave, and sitting on the couch. It was a tri-level house, so you could see the upstairs through like a little walkway and a stairwell, and none of our kids were home, and I see a girl run from one side of the hallway to the other side of the hallway. It was as clear as day as somebody standing in front of you. I still remember, this was 2006, but she had a white dress on, long blonde hair. It was definitely a shocking experience for me. I came, before I retired from the military, I was law enforcement. So I had a very, black and white, very factual, scientific base for, if I couldn't see it, touch it, feel it, I didn't believe in it. Yeah. And that kind of shook everything for me and kind of got me more interested. That was right around the time, Ghost Hunters was coming on TV, starting to gain a little bit of traction and stuff. So there was a little bit more outlets to try to well, there's actually people that really look into this stuff, and everything kind of just snowballed from there. I became more and more involved in it, started, seeking it out, finding other people that did these types of investigations, and everything just kind of led from there.
Yeah. And before we go any farther, thank you for your service. Before we get going. And we do have a question in chat. Darren wants to know, what was your favorite horror book?
My favorite one growing up was, well, now I'm only 36. So when I was a kid, my favorite books, I loved the Goosebump books when I was a kid. As I grew up, I really loved Stephen King. One of my favorite ones was The Stand, and from there it was kind of whatever I could get my hands on, really. And I was kind of excited because they just did those Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the movie. Absolutely, I loved those when I was growing up.
I can't wait to see that.
I haven't seen it yet either. I've been working, but yes, I loved that, those books, and I was a weird kid in class that liked all that stuff.
The weird kid in class grows up to be the cool kid, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping when I grow up that I'll be the cool kid.
Yeah, I'm
still waiting. We gotta grow up.
I'm still waiting for that to happen.
I didn't think we had to grow up.
Okay, Peter Pan.
I don't have to, but I keep telling my kids that they have to.
Okay, the next question, Allison said, what was your favorite place to investigate?
Oh gosh, that's like asking me what my favorite movie is or something. My favorite place to investigate my newest favorite place to investigate has been the Mineral Springs Hotel in Alton, Illinois.
Okay. Yeah.
We've done quite a few there. Actually, we did a podcast episode on it where we talked to one of the owners. But there's never a bad night. There's never a time we've investigated it where something did not happen. That was the first place I was touched by something I couldn't explain. Within minutes, I don't know if they let people go down there. We kind of had like an unrestricted access when the second time we went, but I don't know if they let people go into what they were calling the gentleman's pool. But yeah, they keep it really restricted because they haven't completely kind of restored that area yet. But we went into it. Felicia and I were at different ends of the pool, and I felt something almost as if somebody was actually swimming. I felt something like long, drawn out touch against my leg, and within a couple minutes later, Felicia felt the same thing. She turned to me with this look on her face, and I'm like, "Did you just feel something touch you?" And she's like, "Yeah, like something just brushed up against me." So it was almost, in my mind, it was comparable to like if someone brushed up against you swimming, and they're almost like swimming laps.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely probably one of my favorite places. Beyond that, I'd have to say Missouri State Penitentiary.
Go ahead, you're doing fine.
No,
that was the next one on my list.
That we were down in, I guess I want to say, I call it the dungeon area. It's off of Cell Block A, where if you've been there, I think you'll have a better understanding what I'm talking about. Where it's Cell Block A, where they always do like if there's speakers or anybody, that's where they do it at. But it's in the backside. You go downstairs. It's where the solitary cells are. That was down there. We heard footsteps, people walking around. We were with a group from Columbia, and probably one of the best EVPs we've ever had. And they were in there, wasn't getting anything. They're like, "Oh well, thanks for nothing." And within seconds, it was only females in the room. And right as they're about to walk out, on the recorder, you hear, "Not for nothing," in a male's voice. I mean, clear as I'm talking right now.
Wow. And not for nothing, that's kind of a more recent saying, so they're trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
That's one place I'd like to go.
I would too.
Yeah, if you have the opportunity, I completely recommend it. It was awesome. I don't recommend it in the summer, though. If you can find a good spring, fall, because it was super hot in the summer.
I can imagine. We're going to the squirrel cage here in a couple of weeks, so that should be fun.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't been there, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, this will be our first time being there. Darren in the chat wants to know, what has been your favorite device of choice?
Oh gosh, see, this is where like the wife and I kind of get divided on. I love all the technology. I am a huge tech guy, so I love any new piece of tech I can get my hands on. She is a very basic recorder, and she's good to go. My favorite has probably been our infrared camera.
Oh yeah.
I really love using that. My next purchase is going to be an thermal. That's my goal. But I really love getting the pictures with the infrared camera. That was the device I got my first like shadow figure on. So it's kind of always been my go-to since then. Yeah,
I've got the thermal with my security cameras that you buy, and I bought the special thermal to go with it. I got to learn how to use it first before I can take it with me, because you got to hook it up to the computer, and most places don't have Wi-Fi, so I've got to figure out my hotshot and all that stuff to make sure it's working properly. And
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've made that mistake before too. I've gotten to a location and nothing was set up and it wasn't working right, and I couldn't be able to use it. That happened with our Spirit Radio, our SB7. I didn't really know how to use it yet, and I wasn't really getting anything.
Yep.
But so
yeah, we usually test. We go to Allison's folks' house because Allison, when she grew up, there was a ghost that bothered her all the time when she was growing up. So we go over there and test our equipment, and then we know how to work it, and then we go off to other places.
Well, that's always a plus if you have like your go-to location that you can test everything out on.
Yep. Darren has another question.
Oh, I missed it.
You missed it.
Yeah.
Do you think the paranormal field is going in the right direction, and what needs to be changed?
Oh wow, Darren, that's a
yeah.
Talk about the hot hitting questions. In my opinion, this is I'm just speaking only for myself. I think it's like almost like two sides of the road headed in the same direction. I think there's if you have let's say like all the TV shows and everything else. I think they're great. I'm not going to lie. I watch all of them to include, ones that people think are ridiculous. I think there's a definite advantage to having those out there. It makes it less weird, which I don't mind being weird, but I can talk about it at work and people aren't like, giving you that look of like, you need to go talk to somebody. You need some help. It normalizes it. It makes it to where it's socially acceptable. So because of that, places I think we may not have been able to get into 10, 15 years ago, people are seeing the advantage of letting people into those places. So in a historical setting, that's great because that's giving money to these buildings so they can restore them, so they can maintain them. We can take our kids there in 10 years because they're still going to be there because of that. So I think...
I hear a butt coming.
But one of the biggest problems is that it also takes away, some of the seriousness of it. It's great to get out there and have a great time, and I love doing it, and I have a great time when I do it, and I'm not always super serious. I'm actually not very serious majority of the time, but I take what we do as a whole very serious.
Right.
And I do want those answers. I think we'll get those answers within my lifetime. But some of the stuff makes it seem like, oh, you've been possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
And not everything
has ego. They want the attention, and that causes the issue.
Some of the shows point too much in the entertainment area and not enough in the science area. But I think that's kind of going away. I think people are kind of starting to see the differences because there are shows and stuff or people out there that, okay, yeah, this is not, some of this stuff isn't super serious, but this person does take this super, in a serious manner. And we're kind of headed towards that direction, I think, to where it's becoming more scientific, less, hokey, not, Ghostbusters type thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I do.
Darren,
I agree.
With that answer your question.
He comes up with some good ones.
Oh yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
That's all right.
We love our Darren.
I'll answer anything he's got.
All right, Darren, you heard that. Come on. Type them in. Less work for us. See, that's the benefit of live. They ask the questions.
That's
for
true.
you.
Yeah.
See?
Now, so I put my opinion out there. What do either one of you think about that? What do you,
Kim,
flip it on you here.
I haven't been able to answer him yet, so I'm still working on that one.
My opinion is pretty much close to yours. I think the paranormal being out there on TV has brought it to a forefront that it's now, like you said, being more socially acceptable. It's not so taboo, but it's also kind of, some of the shows have crossed the line into entertainment purposes, and then you throw the ego in there, like I said, which, if it's entertainment purposes, not a big deal, except there's newcomers into the field that don't know the difference between entertainment and actual paranormal investigating. And you see people commenting on, this show is so boring, oh my god, why did they bring it back, why did they do this? That's what real paranormal investigating is. You sit in the dark for hours and you get nothing.
Talking to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always, one of the things because
yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I agree with you.
That's always, I get a lot of, because I'm very upfront about it, with telling people, what I do, about our podcast and everything else, because they're going to find out eventually. They always get, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Well, we're heading out to this graveyard, but they already know. So a lot of it's like, oh, wow, is that like kind of like what it is on TV? I'm like, no. What we do
rip
is
our shirts off and yell demon. No,
yeah.
That's not how it goes.
What it's really like is all the stuff that gets cut out of people walking around, bumping into stuff, talking to themselves.
Yep.
Basically watching paint dry.
Yeah.
Wolf in the chat said this is for everyone. What was it like for your very first time doing an investigation?
Coy, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, from my very first time was almost kind of like what you see on TV, the exciting parts. Not as in something was happening, just me thinking something was happening. It was a lot of, not sitting still and like, oh, did you hear that? What was that? And it was a whole lot of, my wife was a little more experienced. I was a little bit more excitable back then, and I was like, "Oh, I just saw a light." I was taking pictures, like, "Oh, I think that's an orb." Long before I learned of capturing dust in the light, and so it was to think back on that, it was pretty embarrassing, I'm sure, for her, but it was exciting enough to keep me going.
But the fact that you realize that now.
Right.
Says something in itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you learned from that and you've moved, because we've all been there.
Absolutely.
No matter what people say, we've all been there.
Yeah, and nowadays I love, meeting people that are brand new to the field. When we were at conferences, or I spoke at a conference back in 2017, and meeting all these new people that were just so excited to show me their pictures and everything else. It was great, and I told told them all, keep going, keep doing it, and it was really, because it reminded me of when I was brand new, and I think sometimes when you're in something for so long, you kind of forget about that, and so it's exciting, and to think back on how far we've come.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll agree with that one.
Yep. Let's see.
Darren's got another question in chat here. If you come across a full body apparition, who would you want it to be, and what would you say?
Oh gosh.
I plead the fifth. This is all you.
Me too.
Yeah, this is a guess question only.
Guess question only. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I would like to, if I could meet a full body apparition, I think I'd like to meet Johnny Cash.
Oh, nice choice.
And I think that would be the most interesting EVP session anybody could ever have.
It would be.
Definitely.
I can only imagine. I can't. I'm like picturing his voice in my head now. Like, what would it be sounding like over the over the recorder, listening back, and I'm like, oh, Jesus.
I grew up on Johnny Cash because my dad and his birthday were the same day, so Dad loved Johnny Cash. So I've got these songs going through my head now. Thank you.
Well, it's the easiest answer because who's going to be upset about that one?
Yep. No.
Hopefully nobody.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that answer.
No one I want to be associated with.
Right. Exactly. I'm seeing. Sorry. How long?
Go ahead.
I think you already kind of answered this, but what year? How long have you been starting the actual investigating side of things?
So we didn't actually get started investigating. Our experience is kind of unique. We didn't really start getting investigating and stuff like that until about 2007. I was in the military. So we moved around a lot, and it was a lot of getting everything kind of secondhand. I felt like when we got into it, we were like way behind the curve. So we just went into it super strong.
Yep.
And, so in 2007, I'd say we kind of dabbled in it a little bit. But in 2010, when we came back here, this is to the Fort Leonard Wood area, it was like, everywhere we looked, we were able to find something. And we'd already kind of dabbled in it back then, but when we came back to Missouri, that was when everything just it was like the perfect storm. We started going up to Alton, Illinois to the paranormal conferences up there. And so that's when we really started getting into it. Felicia got involved with the group out of Columbia, and we just, anywhere we could go, we went.
Cool.
Yeah.
Darren's got another question for you. He's our question guy.
Surprise!
That's all right.
What do you fear the most about the paranormal?
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, Darren. What do I fear the most? I'm going to take the easy out, and I'm going to say what I fear the most is like something happening to my wife while we're on investigation. So that would that's the easy answer. If I had to say, if it was just me, I would say probably something happening mentally, as in, an actual, not like you see on TV, but an actual, some sort of, maybe not demonic, but an evil, presence. And
right.
Something happened from that, taking something home with me.
Yeah.
It's better than my answer.
What's your answer?
My two biggest fears in life are the dark and the woods. And I'm a paranormal investigator, so I'm facing them daily, but, I'm getting there. I do it, but yeah.
You'd be right there with Felicia. Felicia will go into any abandoned building, yep. Haunted graveyard, Eastern State Penitentiary. It does not matter.
There. I love that place.
But I can't get her to go to a haunted house with me. Like the commercial, let's go to a haunted house.
I laugh through them, but
jump scares and all that. No, absolutely will not. She will not go one bit. And she's also scared of the dark.
I am legit. People how can you be a paranormal investigator and be afraid of the dark? Because I work through my bullshit, thank you. That's how.
Right.
Now, see, I don't like horror movies.
Oh.
But I go out and look for ghosts, but I don't like horror movies. I will watch them, but I don't like them.
Oh, see, that's the opposite for me. I absolutely love. I'll watch anything, even if it's ridiculous.
I'll even watch those B flick. Is that what they're called? B flicks. I'll watch anything horror related. I also only started watching horror movies 15 years ago. So now I want, anything. Show it to me.
See, I started very young. I remember hiding behind the couch watching Friday the 13th when I was a kid.
Darren's question disappeared, but that's on my list to ask you. Go ahead. Go with your question, then I'll bring this one up.
Now what? I lost the question, too.
He deleted it. He deleted the question, but it's on my list. He knows what he wrote.
Okay.
So
go ahead and ask it.
Come on, Darren. Don't let me down now.
Do you believe in provoking?
It depends. And I'll say, like, I don't believe in malevolent provoking. Okay. But I believe in almost not so much provoking as in I believe in motivating. So if I feel like, we're getting something good and it kind of dies down, it's almost like encouraging more. It's like I don't believe
provoking meaning, hey, bastard.
Right. No, I can't say I can't say that I do. I don't see a reason for it. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't treat a person like that in real life. So I don't feel the need to do it to someone that's already passed. Exactly.
I agree.
I'll agree on that one.
I am. That's my passion in the paranormal. No provoking. I mean, there's a difference between provoking and provoking. Like, sometimes you make statements that you want to get an answer to, but I don't think that's what Darren means by provoking.
Right. No, I think I understand what he meant by his question. And hopefully that answered it. But I just don't see the reason for it. I don't see a need for it.
I think they earned the respect.
Right.
And deserve it. So.
And Darren wants to know, do you like using Ouija boards during an investigation?
I like using Ouija board. I haven't used one in an investigation. That's not to say I wouldn't. I have unfortunately nobody can see it, so me looking up at it doesn't do anybody any good. But I have a 1940s William Fold original and Ouija board that we have. We haven't used it, but that's not to say I wouldn't. I just haven't had the opportunity. I think they're great. To me, they're no different than using an EVP, a recorder, or any other tool that you're going to light this K2 meter up or turn on these flashlights. You're doing the exact same thing with different tools, in my opinion.
Guys, I got to step away for a minute, so I'm going to mute my stuff. I'll be back in
adios.
Yep. I'll be back, or the show will never end if I don't come back. You guys are
that's true.
We'll just keep talking all night.
Yeah,
that's true.
As long as Darren keeps asking questions, we'll just keep on going.
He is awesome. Yeah. He is awesome. He will keep asking questions. So Darren, keep them busy while I'm gone. I need 3 minutes.
I also wanted to know, what's your thoughts on the Bigfoot?
Oh my gosh, my thoughts on the Bigfoot. So with that, it's kind of weird. I'm probably one of the few people that actually has an absolute love of the Bigfoot, and maybe I'm not an absolute love of the Bigfoot, but I've never had a Bigfoot encounter.
Right.
I've never been walking in the woods and seen him or her. It's not necessarily just a him, but it was one of those things that I heard about when I was a kid, when I was, just taking in anything I could on. At the time, I didn't think it was paranormal. I thought it was just, ghosts and monsters.
Right.
But whenever I started kind of digging more into it, and I found out that, this isn't just some made up thing. It's real. And so, to me, I never needed to see it after that. I just kind of always believed that it was. It's just one of those things that it's not necessarily something you have to see to believe in. And so, from that, it kind of just, I kind of see it as one of the last real, mysteries. There's so many people have and found this or that video footage. There's something there. You may not necessarily be the Bigfoot, so to speak, but it's something. And that was kind of like my whole, my take on it. Now I kind of focus more on stuff in Missouri.
Mm-hmm. There's our Darren. Who's the person you want to investigate with that you haven't yet?
Oh gosh. Let's see. This one's gonna sound really corny, but I absolutely love them. I want to investigate with the Ghost Brothers.
Oh, those guys would be fun.
that's like that's like one of my guilty pleasures. I absolutely love that show. I was so disappointed when it went away and was like, a kid in a candy store when I found out they were coming back.
Yes, I haven't missed a show since they came back. But I think mine would be Grant Wilson from Ghost Hunters.
Yes, I agree. I think that would be awesome. I've got to investigate with some of the members of TAPS. I got to investigate with Steve. I got to investigate with Adam. Felicia's got to investigate with Adam and Amy. So
I
those guys are all
with
wonderful.
Adam at Farrar School. He came to the Farrar School, and I've investigated with him there.
He's so much fun.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Where's Allison? I'm reading all Allison's questions right now. So, how did you come up with the topics for your podcast show?
That's it. Some of the topics are suggested to us. We have some listeners that, and we throw it out every time. Like, hey, you want to hear about something? Tell us what you want to hear about, and we'll do it.
Right.
That's how we ended up doing our Wendigo show, which, to me, I love doing topics I don't know a whole lot about because it's that learning. We get to learn about it. But other than that, we have this huge list of all, every time something like, oh, we should do a show on that, we write it down. And then we kind of just go from there. Right now, we're trying something a little bit different. We're going state to state and trying to pick something from that state that's unique only to that state. Mm-hmm. So we're doing a lot of legends and lore. Our last episode was on the Dead Children Playground.
Yeah, I caught parts of that tonight when I was going through your stuff.
I'm sorry about that. I never recommend anyone ever listen. It's always
gotta listen.
It's always hard. I'm like, oh gosh, does it sound awful? In my mind, it
sound bad to me.
In my mind, I'm like, oh, it always sounds awful. And it was another one of those things where I never realized I had an accent. I never realized I had an accent until I listened to the audio from our first show, and I'm like, what in the world? Why do I sound so country? I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna think that this is some like hillbilly in the woods doing a podcast, but so
I
that's
sound
always
like a masshole, so it's all good.
I mean, she wanted to know about Waverly Hills.
Oh, that one you'd have to ask my wife about that one. So that was one of those unfortunate experiences where I had to work and she got to go to Waverly Hills.
Ah.
So I haven't been there. So yeah, I don't have any. Unfortunately, I don't have any stories from Waverly Hills.
Okay, what about Ohio State?
You guys are gonna think I don't go anywhere. I did not go to Ohio State. She went to Ohio State. I can tell you about one of the experiences that she had, though.
Okay.
So there was a large room, and she was sitting on the bed. I'm sorry. It wasn't the bed. It was a bench. So she's sitting on a bench, and they're kind of having a conversation back and forth, asking questions and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, the bottom of the bench gets hit so hard that it moves her.
Wow.
And there was only two people on the bench, so I know nobody else did it. And not to mention, she's not one that would ever make up any type of story. She just doesn't need to. She's had enough encounters far beyond anything that someone could make up. And because not to mention the person next to her was my mom.
Oh.
So she's a credible source,
That helps.
Right.
Yeah, that helps. What is
so that was
psychiatric hospital I listened to the episode. The last episode I listened to was from February tonight. And you guys were talking about a psychiatric hospital. Have you been to more? You're an investigator. You've probably been more than one.
Like psychiatric hospital. Trying to think. Let's see. We did Ohio State Reformatory, Missouri State Penitentiary, Mineral Springs.
It was one I didn't recognize. I should have wrote it down. I'm sorry.
No. It's Oh, you know what? I bet it was Glore.
That might be it.
It's St. Joseph.
Yes.
And we're just planning a return trip there. Yeah. It used to be a psychiatric hospital. Now it's a museum, multi-level. I highly recommend it. Oh yeah, my wife must be listening right now because I just got a text message out of nowhere that said Glore.
Yep. Hi, Felicia. That's weird. I'm not saying bye, Felicia. I'm saying hi, Felicia.
Yeah. That's a new one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Glore, and it's another amazing place. That obviously, if we're going to return there, and I know one time we were sitting there, just everything's super quiet. They hear screaming. I mean, just blood curdling screaming, and there's only like maybe 6 of us in the building, and it's so spread out. You're not, so we get on the radios, we start, everybody, and it was nobody was screaming. It was, I had a bag in a chair that got thrown out of the chair.
Wow. Outside
the morgue.
Oh.
That was an exciting time. That was my first time getting to lay on one of in the little cold freezer where you can pull out the little metal thing. So me and a friend laid in there. That was pretty creepy. I don't know how many people have done that alive.
I don't know if I would do it, but
yeah, I don't know. I've said that a lot though, and then I get in the moment, and they're like, "No, you go in that dumbwaiter, and you sit there for 20 minutes." And I've done it. So.
We're gonna have you sit there by yourself in the dark.
Yeah, they've done
adrenaline gets going, and you'll do all kinds of ridiculous paranormal things.
Or ego.
Yeah, that too.
You want to say I won't do it? I'm going to prove you wrong. I might pee myself, but I'm going to do it.
Of course, I'll sit in this graveyard by myself in the dark.
Yeah.
They wanted me to lay in a coffin. I would not do that.
That I would not do either.
I can't say that I wouldn't. In the heat of the moment, I probably would. If Felicia was here,
the spirits were telling me to lay in the coffin. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
At one experience we had with spirits doing stuff, we were at Mineral Springs again. We were all in the basement sitting there, and we asked if the spirit wanted somebody to leave. Every meter in that room went off, and of course that person was courteous and left. But yeah, that was definitely a rare experience with being told to do something.
Darren wants to know what is on your bucket list.
My bucket list. Stanley Hotel.
Nice.
Is definitely on there. I want to go to a lot of the places that Felicia's already got to go to without me. Ohio State, Eastern State. I know we got some big trips planned. We're going to be going back to Glore, but I really want to do the Stanley Hotel, and I want to go to the Winchester House.
Oh,
Eastern State Penn I've been to, and I highly recommend it. Winchester House is on my bucket list. I've been to the cemetery in Connecticut, but never been to the house. But that's on my top 5, so.
And I'd like to go to Waverly Hills, of course.
Yeah, I would, of course, if I had the opportunity, it would go. It's just not on my bucket list. Only, you get 5 choices. I picked the ones that, most of them are like within a few hours of me. So I have the opportunity, I can go, and then there's Winchester House, cross country.
Yeah,
Alcatraz. Alcatraz would be a good one.
I've never been. Yeah, I've been to Alcatraz on the historical tour, but I've never got to do an investigation there. I definitely think that would be awesome. There's so much history there.
Yeah. Oh,
have you ever investigated in Iowa?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Shay.
Nope.
Have you ever been up to Iowa?
Have I ever been to Iowa?
Yeah, investigating any places here in Iowa.
We did the Villisca.
Nice.
And that was another awesome place. We doubled up. We did Villisca and we did Malvern. So I have like a little twofer.
Yeah. I have not been to Iowa yet. Most of my peeps are in Iowa, but I'm stuck here in New Hampshire. So.
I feel you. Being, we're stuck down here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Villisca was my very first investigation.
Oh wow, that's
how many people can say that?
Right, that's definitely going all in.
That was going all in, and plus I got scratched that night up in the attic.
Felicia had some really kind of extreme experiences up in the attic. A lot of feeling pressure and just this like a weird feeling of like kind of a dread, hearing voices, seeing like shadows. Is definitely one of the more active and extreme investigations we've had.
Yeah, the first time I went, I could hear it with my own ears. It sounded like a tricycle riding around in the attic. And we caught it on the recorder, but you think I can find it on the recorder now? I've got everything on the computer. You think I can find that little spot? Not.
Right.
No. Wolf has a question.
Yeah.
Before I lose it. What kind of protection...
Is there a place that you will not go to?
Nope, that wasn't it, but okay. I missed one.
This was just before that one.
All right, sorry. Thank you. She's a pro, not me.
No, so is there a place? There's not. There's no place I wouldn't go. And given the opportunity, I will go anywhere in this world to do an investigation, especially if I don't have to pay for it.
Definitely be nice.
This is probably one of the most expensive hobbies you could have.
Definitely.
Amen. It is.
Okay, well, second question is, what kind of protection do you use when you go on an investigation?
And see, I don't. A lot of groups will, they'll use sage. They'll kind of do a prayer before and after. I don't. I kind of use positive energy and a good attitude.
That's intent. That is a form of protection. It's your intent.
Right, and I'm
not allowing you to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's the best form of protection myself.
I've had Felicia and I together. We've had I would say maybe one bad encounter out of all the investigations that we've done. We were at the First Unitarian Church, and I won't say that I was scratched because I couldn't confirm it, but I definitely at one point standing upstairs, right behind the I guess the altar leading into the other room, I definitely felt a warm sensation in a very in a line on my back, but there was nothing there, so I won't necessarily say that. But in the basement, we were using a Nikon camera and taking pictures, and then poof, the camera just completely fried. For no reason, it didn't get hot, nothing like that. It just was out. It was gone. Would not ever turn on again. There was no the bat opened it up. There was no signs of any damage to it. So that's the closest thing to a negative, so to speak, experience that we've had.
Ooh. Darren wants to know, after the tornado in Joplin, Missouri, did you go through there, and did you think the whole town would have been haunted after the tornado?
That's kind of, it seems like it definitely should have been almost. I mean, it was such a tragedy. At that time, I was still in the military, so I didn't have the opportunity to go down there. We were trying to, but it was more for the recovery efforts. We were trying to get our unit to go down there in order to help with the recovery and the cleanup and stuff like that. I was in a military police unit because I was with being an MP, so we would have went down there more in that aspect. I didn't have the opportunity to go down. I've been down there since then, and it's it's still you can still feel it even after all this time. It's really it's really tragic to kind of go through there and know you still feel that loss when you go through there.
Yeah. And Darren has another question. Go ahead, Shay.
I just said I can only imagine.
I don't think just like when the tornado went through here through Marshalltown, it's like, I don't think I could investigate it because if there was lives, it's just the tragedy and, everything going through your head and stuff. And
it hits too close to home is what it is.
Yeah.
Every investigation we do, it's somebody's tragedy. But when it's too close to home, it's kind of off limits in your heart. Not in your brain, but in your heart.
Yeah. Okay, Darren has a question. Have you been to the Exorcist house?
No, that's another kind of guilty pleasure of mine. I think Darren might be stalking me. No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I will definitely say unfortunately because I would absolutely love to do that. That would have been on my bucket list had I thought about it in the moment. I haven't. So an author, Troy Taylor, wrote a book, a very great book, and it's called The Devil Came to St. Louis. You can get it probably anywhere you can get books, you can get it. And I read that cover to cover, which is pretty big for me because currently I'm not a reader. I don't like reading at all. I don't know why. I guess I loved it when I was a kid, but so anything I've been able to find on The Exorcist, we did an episode on it. That was our first real episode, and just because of my love of it. And so anything I can get my hands on relating to it, we do. But I would absolutely investigate that in a heartbeat. I'd be there tomorrow if they made the call.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have any more questions here.
Darren says, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I've missed any questions, but...
Gina Marie says, I don't think scratches are necessarily bad. I get them often, and that Eloise, my back scratched bad. I feel that they're just trying to get your attention. Do you feel the same?
Oh, no, I have an opinion. Go ahead. You go first.
Okay. I agree. I think that's, the perfect attitude to have. And that's the attitude I have. That's why I said, I don't necessarily think it's negative because if anybody has kids who hasn't been scratched by their kid or a cat or a dog or anything else, it's like she said, just, it's someone trying to get your attention.
Yeah. And,
they're doing that. It's definitely not necessarily negative. They may not have any other means to get, you're asking them questions. They're trying to reach out to you.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely not necessarily negative, and I wouldn't consider it negative.
No. For all we know is they're trying to get our attention, and they work up the energy, and finally they think they're touching us, and they're scratching us.
Right. It's not always going to be like Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
Yeah.
No, we can wish, but no.
Well, when I got scratched at Villisca, I didn't feel evil. It was low enough on my back. It felt like it was a little kid, trying to tug on my shirt, but scratched me at the same time. So I didn't feel scared about it.
No. I have a question. Another hard one.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know how to word it because it just popped in my head. What are your feelings on demonic? Anything demonic? Do you think it's overrated? Do you think people throw it out there too much? Spirits are misunderstood?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a lot of misunderstandings.
Yeah.
That not, it's just like, in everyday life, everything's not necessarily good and evil. Some people, some people were just crappy people, so they're going to be crappy spirits.
That's what I say. If you're an asshole in life, you're going to be an asshole in death.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, with that being said, I do think there is there's definitely an unseen evil.
Yep.
Out there. It's been in some form or another, it's been talked about for centuries. Regardless of what your beliefs are, every belief has, that some light form. And that dark.
Yep.
Darren has another question. If you have a chance to build a device for your investigation, what would it be and why?
Gosh. I'd like to build a device that would make it easier to see and communicate. In my mind, it would be something along the lines that almost like Skype, be Skyping to the other side, so to speak, where, you remember that, I don't know if anybody remembers from when they were a kid, that type and talk type device where you could hit the keys and it would say the word. Yeah. Something kind of along that lines.
Speak and spell or something like that?
Yes, there you go. Speak and spell. Yes, something like the new wave, new age speak and spell.
I don't know about you, but I'm not smart enough to build something.
Exactly. Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah.
I gotta rely on everybody else.
To work these devices. Never mind. Oh, I'm echoing.
Darren wants to know if you think the Ozarks are haunted.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. Mainly because my first real paranormal experience. I always, anytime I'm ever talking about it, I always call it my first real paranormal experience. That was right here, one town over. In the Ozarks, there's tons of folklore within the Ozarks. It has a very rich history. A lot of very unfortunate events happen in the Ozarks. From the Civil War, on to the Prohibition times, as well as just unfortunate accidents and murder. So there's definitely a lot of haunted locations. But we're also kind of in the Bible Belt, so a lot of that stuff is kind of not spoken about so freely. But if you really get to talking to a lot of the older generation that are willing to speak about it, they'll tell you of the experiences that they've had.
Cool. I don't see any more questions right offhand. While there's 9 questions right now, why don't you tell everybody how to find you and where to find you? And
all right, so we try to keep it pretty simple. Anywhere on social media, you can find us at Until Dawn Podcast. You can we email us at untildawnpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a phone number. It's I don't know our phone number off the top of my head. Any other time I would. But I want to say it's like 913-703-DAWN. But yeah, the easiest way to reach out to us is on social media.
Cool. So did you get to go to the Kansas City Paracon this time?
No. So we were invited up there, and unfortunately, because I'm not gonna say that, we were at Walt Disney World when it happened. Our friend Jason Kupsik he puts it on. That's his thing, and every year he's like, "Oh, are you guys gonna come this year?" And we're like, "No, actually, we're because 3 years in a row now he's scheduled it when we're on vacation." I told him, like, I don't think you really want us to come. Because you're always scheduling it.
Your wife, Felicia. Hello, Felicia.
Yeah.
See, I paid attention.
So,
I'm with the wife.
yes. So in between that conversation and now, the last year for our anniversary, I took her to Walt Disney World, just the two of us. I'm not gonna lie, it was a blast. Take your kids, but don't be afraid to go without, because you will have a blast.
Darren has another question here. How do you feel about sleep paralysis mixed with shadow people?
Oh my gosh. This is when Felicia needs to be on the show. She is all about sleep paralysis. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again, and we'll have to do this again. I'm gonna get her on here when we'll figure it out, because she works evenings sometimes, and that's why she's not here tonight. But yeah,
we're gonna figure it out.
I've had one experience with sleep paralysis, but I was a kid. I was in high school at the time, probably my sophomore year, and it's the one and only time I've ever had an experience with it. We did an episode on it, and I learned actually a ton. It's a whole lot more common than I ever realized.
It's a lot thing. That's why.
Yeah, and a lot of older stories come, with the old hag story and stuff like that, as well as like incubus and succubus theories, and it's very real, and there's a lot of correlation between sleep paralysis and shadow people, whether that's projected from the individual's mind or actual shadow people, because I do believe in shadow people. And it's very interesting topic, and it's very real.
Yeah. Well, we're getting down to the end. Does anybody else have any more questions before we come to the close here? Real quick, I'll give them a little time. But yeah, we appreciate having you on. We'll have to get you and your wife on.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, we'd love to do it. This has been an absolute blast.
And I want to thank you, Shay, for helping out.
Oh my God, This was my pleasure. I mean, the guest is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I agree.
I love Kim, but I'm kind of partial. But I've never met Coy before, and this was awesome, and I highly enjoyed it. So
thank you guys for me.
Thank you guys for having me. Even though I talk a lot, but we
don't mind.
I did not swear.
Me neither. I was proud of myself.
Yeah, me too. My show, every other word's the F-bomb. I'm like, no swearing, Shay. None.
Yeah, we always earn our explicit rating on ours, so.
Yeah. They're all marked explicit, just in case I pop on.
Yeah, with Allison too.
They're saying awesome show, awesome guest. They are loving
it. Thank you. Thank you.
And we're going to have to...
Want me to do some shout-outs while we're waiting?
Yes, please.
I'm going to go as far back as I can. Everybody knows my phone does not always cooperate, and Spreaker does not. But we have me. We have, of course, Darren with the awesome questions.
Yes.
Darren, thank you for all the awesome questions. I just have to say that. Darren is awesome.
We love Darren.
Yes, thank you, Darren.
Jen was in there for a bit. Of course, we had the beautiful Gina Marie in there for a little bit. Oh, not a little bit. She was in there for the whole show. I take that back. We had Luna. Hello, Luna. I'm trying. We had Matt. We had Allison. I don't scroll as quick. This is why I have a co-host. I know Wolf was in there.
Wolf was in there, yeah.
Help. I'm trying.
I'm getting there. Just a minute. I'm scrolling as fast as I can.
I'm always afraid of missing somebody, but then I go so slow.
I think we might have hit everybody.
I think we're forgetting a couple of people, but that's okay. They know we love them.
Yeah,
There's a couple of names I didn't recognize. That's why I'm saying I think I forgot somebody.
I didn't see anybody different
Anyways,
than normal.
thank you. Whether you're in chat,
Yes.
not in chat, thank you for listening. Make sure you check out Until Dawn podcast. I listened to a few of them today, and well worth it. And of course,
Definitely.
Kim and Allison put on a great podcast, if I do say so myself.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not usually by myself.
No, but I do make a good Allison.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
If anybody
I
can
wouldn't
fill
know any
Allison's
different.
shoes, it would be me.
Yep, definitely.
So, all right, guys. Is that it? Are we done?
We are done for the night.
Okay, guys. Thank you. And hey, can I? Actually, I own the network, so I can say. Tomorrow night, season 2 of Shay's Paranormal Chat is kicking off with Charlotte Hurden and Lyle Lotz, Ghost of War series. I'm excited to be back. This will be awesome. So check it out, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. So, everybody, check out Until Dawn podcast. And thank you. Have a great night.